When I was born, and my father pulled me out of the sand, he said the beauties that are lost are buried underneath the sands of time. This has proven true every time I find a used syringe at the beach. But of all my favorite lost beauties, only one gets me so excited that my desert turns into a lushly oasis, ancient Somolia, a romantic, white and clean civilization that was sadly lost in warfare. My name is Delicious Plume, and this is Uncovering Ancient Beauty, Ancient Somolia, and the Dawn of the Nile. Ancient Somolia was founded by King Assur, the first Somalian. He was white and clean, with curly, greasy hair atop his dome. The legend of his creation was that an orange cat was thrown into the river, and he emerged as its god form. He immediately set about creating his civilization, and it flourished. He set up schools that gave out Adobe certifications, advancing the African continent by at least 3 years. However, crisis soon struck, as his ashy complexion and Dahmer energy forced all the women away, and a desert was soon formed. But the glorious Somalians set out a plan to construct a great river, named after a birthmark on his chest, stretching from his mouth to his dirty region. They named it the Nile, and the construction began. You may have heard that the Nile is a naturally constructed river. This, however, has been countered by recent excavations which have uncovered fossilized brown pubic hair buried in the sediment of the Nile. It is estimated it took around 7 Somalians to construct the Nile, which turned the desert into a lushly oasis, allowing multiple mango farms to be established. An unanticipated result of this river was trade. Around the time of the rise of ancient Somolia, 2 other civilizations were established, known as the ancient Greeks and the ancient Persians. These 2 began trade, but the trades were more ceremonial in nature. The true bond of boys is that King Assur was remarkably tight, and the Greeks and the Persians took great pleasure in the festivals and the rolling in the ashers, an act known as sliming out. The ancient Somalians believed when you turned 18, you became magically better. And many ripe Somalians were traded as gifts to the Greeks and the Persians. However, the ashes soon got dark, and this is where the story gets really sad. Unbeknownst to his ashiness, in the south an evil force was rising. A furious primitive group of brown-skinned invaders, known as the Afro-Kings, were sharpening their spears. Like the Somalians, they also thirsted for a drink from the lushly oasis, as their oasis had recently dried up due to overconsumption. But unlike the honorable pale Somalians, they were unwilling to work for their goals. They simply wanted to take the easy way. 80 Afro-Kings stormed up the Nile on a speedboat, heading straight up towards the ashy capital. However, a defense was unable to be mounted, because King Assur was bent over in a Greek-Persian sandwich, repaying a debt he had made to the 2 princes. The Afro-Kings ransacked the city, and it was too late. The Nile was lost, and all the ancient Somalians were lost, and bred out to extinction. The Afro-Kings didn't know how to use technology, so all of the Adobe computers were destroyed, and Africa was returned to the Grass Age. But in the end, the Afro-Kings' conquest was for nothing, as their rule turned out to be just as fruity as the Somalians, and they soon were bent over and bred into extinction by the Persians and the Greeks. And in a blink of an eye, the pale white beauty was lost, buried under the sands of time, to be lost forever. And that is where we are going to leave this episode. I have more to say about the rich Somalians. However, I am so sad I am unable to speak. Goodbye.